G'day everyone. Proud to say Barkarati is brought to you by Radix Nutrition, makers of the most technically comprehensive nutrition products that have ever existed. Unlock your potential with Radix. G'day listeners, welcome to Barkarati, the sailing podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer and it's that time of the week where we get to hang out with some really cool sailors, but of course I have to share the microphone with my two idiot mates. First off, Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, Exalted One.
BP.
Yeah, g'day all. Sorry about that. I've just woken up.
Dynamic, BP dynamic.
Very, very Kiwi theme going on. It's good to be getting back over to that part of the world this episode.
Is that why you're wearing a black shirt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly why.
Kiwi tuxedo.
Yep. Just getting my bags packed.
Cool. Hang on, let's bring in the other guy.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Bice.
Top of the day, gents. BP, you've just woken up. Jordan, you're still on Abu Dubai time. So you've had about half an hour's sleep. Yeah. You blokes should be a barrel of laughs this episode.
It's all right. We'll do the usual and let you carry us.
The fish behind you, they're well awake.
Oh, they're bloody
BP?
starving. No,
Hey?
they've seen Dad come out and they're ready to go. They're
ready to roll.
They're waiting for the food to come in.
Yeah.
Was that little baby sunfish there, BP? You loading up for next year.
No, he's breeding them. Gee, BP is breeding sunfish. I wouldn't be surprised if we see an orca in that aquarium soon.
Oh.
Yeah, no, there's definitely an orca on the way.
Wow.
Or is that in your northern hemisphere residence? You
No,
breed
no.
the orcas up there in Portugal. Just drop them off
Why do you think I moved
for
next to the
Gibraltar.
water? Why do you think I moved next to the water? I've got a little farm out the front.
Love it.
Oh, good.
All right,
Rightio.
let's get into this, boys.
Let's do it.
I guess this week, listeners, is a friend of ours, friend of the show. We have a lot of time for this lass. She is one of the people that sort of put her heart and soul into our sport, and as part of that little side hustle, she basically created the model that we've used. You know, just work your ass off and do something on the side for years and years and years until it builds into something major, and something major it is. There's a website called Live Sail Die, which I think most of you would know, and if you don't know, jump onto it. It's a sailing-focused website that talks about all the different things that are going on, and it's run by Suellen Hurling, who is our guest today on Barkarati. Suellen, how are you?
G'day, or should I say Cura?
Yeah.
Hello.
Well, I was going to ask you, is it Kiwi Suellen or Aussie Suellen?
Well, I don't know what variety we've got
Depends where
today.
you are. Depends where you are.
Well, right now I'm sitting at Napier Sailing Club, so I should probably wear the Kiwi hat. But yeah, don't judge me too much.
Oh, we never do that on this show
No.
at all.
Never.
No judgment.
No.
That's it.
First off, congratulations. I mean, as I said at the start, I think it was 2005 or something where you started, and you actually I remember seeing your little Live Sail Die stickers in Brisbane boats, like you'd see them start to pop up, and then, it's taken a while, this is nearly 20 years of working in sailing.
It's taken me, so I registered the website on the 22nd of November 2005 when I was sitting in the sailing office at the Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron. There you go.
When
Little
did
bit
you
of
get
a
your
side
Live Sail Die tattoo?
Oh, well, actually, funny you should mention that. I was so close to getting it, but my father would be furious that I have a tattoo already. I'd probably break his heart if I got another one, but I'm keen as to get one, especially the new logo. The old logo was a bit crap, so the new logo.
Oh, that'd be disappointing, wouldn't it? You get the tattoo, just finally get it all done, and then, the art department has come up with a new logo.
Yeah, that'd be a penny terror, wouldn't it?
Well, imagine ours would be off centre.
In middle of your back, BP, and it's like half around your torso.
There you go, Scott Patton. That's our goal,
So-
to get a tattoo that's off centre.
So, Suellen, what made you start? Like, obviously, when you mentioned RQ there, so you've you're doing a lot of work in that administration sort of elements, organising regattas, doing sailing master at RQ. And what was it? It was just, were you always a passionate sailor, or was it just at that time?
Yeah, well, I grew up sailing. Mum and Dad were actually sailing together in a Hobie 16 when Mum was pregnant with me, so I kind of had no choice.
That was a good finish to that. Sorry, I thought that could have gone somewhere else. They weren't my mum and dad till they went sailing a Hobie 16. When they hit the shore, that's a different story.
So yeah, Mum and Dad were sailing together, and it was sailing or become a butcher like my father. So I thought I'd pick up sailing instead. And yeah, Dad built me my first boat when I was 3 years old. And launched it in the family pool in Grafton, as I said a little bit earlier. Andrew Landenberger was my next door neighbour. And so I was kind of inspired by him. He was a bit of a legend. And so I moved up to Brisbane when I was 19. And then went through a few years of what the hell am I going to do with my life? I want to be involved in sailing somehow, but I know I'm not quite good enough to make it as an actual sailor. So ended up working at Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron, running all their sailing. And I noticed when I was there, it's like, this is great. We've got all these really cool regattas, but how do we actually get more people to go to them? So we need some photos, we need some writing. And I got told by the club, well, there's no budget for that. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll just do it myself.
Wow. And just did that, and that was it. So if you were born in Grafton, which is any good Aussie knows, as you're driving between Queensland and Sydney, Brisbane and Sydney, your first stop for Macca's at lunchtime is Grafton.
Amongst other things.
But where did you sail? Was that what?
Clarence River Sailing Club.
Clarence, that's a fantastic little club.
It's so good. It's just brilliant. It's your proper local small town community sailing shed.
It's exactly what it is. And surrounded by this beautiful grass area, you pull up in your car, you could rig up, you could put 1,000 boats there and rig up on that lawn. And you just, you just don't even, you take your camper and you sleep there as well. It's like your full classic country sailing. It's venue. It's a cracker.
Yeah, and it was even better after the floods because you used to actually share the race course with snakes and dead cows and stuff. So,
and
you learned how to avoid obstacles.
The other thing about the old Clarence Sailing Club is the courses are quite different.
There's one course, up the river, down the river, or around the back.
Do you go starboard on this mark and then port on that one, and then you crisscross here, and it's a great club.
It's like a Scar Electric race.
It's exactly what
go over the top around a couple of figure eights, port starboard,
round the inclinated corners.
Remember once we did a regatta, and I actually lived on the river, so it was quite cool. And the race actually took us up past my house up to the next island, which was Susan or Elizabeth, anyway, one of the ladies' islands. And I needed to go to the bathroom. I just pulled up onto the beach at my house, straight up the road, went to the bathroom, went back down, jumped on, and kept racing.
Did you still win the race?
Let's say yes, because no one will.
Or were you one of those hippie chicks that goes out there and we're hanging out with dolphins and
Well, there's no dolphins
not many
in the Clarence River. Hanging out with the bull sharks.
A brown snake.
Yeah. Your brown snakes, bull
brown
sharks.
Snakes and bull sharks is
and
what we hung
and dead
out.
horses.
And stingerfish.
And stingerfish, yeah. All right, so you're in Brisbane and you start with the photography and the writing. Were you into photography and any of that before? That was a passion for you?
Yeah, I'd always been into photography and writing, and I was writing a column for the Wynnum Manly Herald, just like a little local rag. It was called the Nautical Mile. Such a cliche. And and just used to write about what was happening.
Was it about sailing?
A little bit, just a touch. And so I used to write a weekly column for them and just talk about what sailing was happening on Moreton Bay. Which was pretty cool. So it's sort of creating a little bit more promotion for the club. I've always sort of been into like promoting as well. I think your dad always said to me, you can't sell a secret. So talk about what you love. And
Dad's on it, isn't he?
Wow. He's kind of onto that stuff.
Actually, we're going wrong.
He's currently in Adelaide.
Love that.
Laser sailing, Ilka passion.
And Adelaide.
Actually sailing or?
He is your Australian and Oceania Ilka class president.
There we go.
Mm.
And full
The world just keeps clamping in on us, guys.
He's actually parked his truck, his big Nissan Patrol, right in the middle of the rigging lawn with the big Liv Sal logo down the side.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, good. Rightio. All
The
right,
down under sailing guys are loving that.
I've got a mission.
Next to the Land Rover with Barkarati all over it.
And there will be Harry's shitty little Subaru with down under sail.
Hang on. It's a Subaru, mate.
No, it's a Subaru. I have
No.
We're in Adelaide, mate. She's a Subaru.
It's a
It's
Subaru.
a Subaru.
Just ask the Kiwis. It's Subaru.
The amount of discussions I've had with Kiwis about the names of that. No, Subaru.
Oh, it took me forever to work out what they were talking about when they were talking about the mighty Subi.
By the way,
Sometimes
Harry,
it
it's not a
takes
shitty Subaru.
Sometimes it takes me
lovely.
forever to understand Kiwis still, but that's okay. It's another
Yeah, well,
story.
we'll get onto that in a minute.
Okay, so we're writing for the Wynnum Manly, which is, for those overseas, it's where the Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron's based. That's the suburbs. So, yeah.
And then it was actually a guy that you'll all know, Adrian Finglas. We should actually put his name here. He was like, hey, I need some photos of the 505 guys for some training. Do you want to come out? And I sort of was like, yeah, I can do this. Sure. No worries.
Yeah, I'll
Fake it till you make it. And he actually said, he goes, oh, you should come to Adelaide and go to the 505 Worlds, get some photos, write some articles. So it was actually AIDS that kind of helped push me into, this could be something else. I don't even know if he probably remembers the influence that he had, but let's not give him too much credit.
Well, hang on. I'll tell you, Suellen, before you get going, basically, you're attributing to AIDS, but all I'm hearing is 505s. 505s.
All I'm hearing is, why the hell didn't I get a call up for the photo shoot?
Yeah.
I was Mr. 505 back in those days, shirt off, just pouncing around town.
Pretty much, yep.
Hair hasn't changed.
Yeah. Anyway, continue. AIDS,
Yeah, so that went really well. And I actually really enjoyed it. So, headed off to Adelaide, camera, laptop, thought, what could possibly go wrong? And nothing. And I realized that it was actually really fun and I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed that more than writing notice of races and sailing instructions, which no one actually reads anyway.
And being a butcher.
They do. They do read them seriously. But of course, what a great event to go to. First up, Brighton and Seacliff Yacht Club, like the most welcoming yacht club in the world, right there at and in covering 5-0s. Like it must be difficult to have, everything's been downhill since then.
Oh, God.
It's Radelaide after all.
Radelaide, that's it. Yeah. Okay. And I mean, so you would have got some great photos because it was a bit dark and grey, that regatta, from memory.
Oh my God, your memory is way better than mine. But there's all this other few little programs that you can make photos look better.
Of course.
Helped.
Yeah. So that photography experience, obviously you knew a bit about photography though. Like you didn't just pull out your little Kodak and went snap, snap.
Well, I actually started by stalking Andrea Francolini.
Oh, okay.
I stalked Andrea. I didn't stalk her.
See what Kitty's using, how he does it all.
That's exactly what I did. And to be fair,
numbers.
The first few times he ignored me because he's like, obviously Mr. Popular Italian stallion photographer. And it's every Tom, Dick and Harry and Sue who wants to, just be like him. But I was persistent, and to this day, we're now great friends. So.
Okay. Well, good on you, Andrea.
That's the longevity of it, isn't it?
It really is.
Not just another flash in the pan, are you?
Well, I 18 years down the track, I'd like to think that I've come of age.
You've done a lot of work. I guess there's a couple of milestones for Live Sail Die that we sort of need to mention. One is where you got to the stage to go full time, which I think was only 2018, was it?
Oh my gosh, you've done your research. It was 2018. It was.
Don't worry, it's not just you doing the stalking, Suellen.
Lucky there's.
And it's not Bossy and I.
Look, believe it or not, this is not a start of a really bad joke, but it was the 1st of April,
Wow.
2018.
I love it.
After 12 o'clock. Must have been after 12 o'clock, surely.
Before 12, just to mix things up.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, 1st of April 2018. And I tell you what, it was a bit of a shock to the system to go from, so I did 8 years at Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron. And then the reason I ended up in New Zealand was because of Royal Akarana Yacht Club. And so it was pretty stressful to leave a regular salary income, car, phone, computer, salary. But yeah, sure, let's just go on our own and just see what happens.
Wow. That's
Was it,
Call
given
it
it was
jumpy.
April the 1st, where you're like, am I actually just fooling myself?
yeah.
Oh, honestly, I still to this day, I'm like, is this actually a thing? Is this
Yeah,
real?
Down the airport. Why is that girl hitting herself in the arm saying a pinch and a punch in the first day of the month? Pinch and a punch in the first day of the month.
So you moved to New Zealand in 2011. So that was for actual work. October 2011. You left on flight Qantas flight, and you
QF141.
If you can tell me the date I moved here, I'd be pretty impressed.
October 6th. It was my birthday.
25th of October.
I just had to.
I did. I actually. It's a weird story how I ended up in New Zealand because to be fair, how many Aussies actually say I'm going to pack up and move to New Zealand?
None.
Yeah.
Couple over here.
There's so many jokes.
I'm only joking.
There's a couple over here.
Yeah, no.
But I was actually in Noumea, working for Royal Queensland. Flew to Noumea. And the Vice Commodore of the Royal Akarana has also flown in. So that was our phrase where we was like, let's get a Brisbane to Noumea, Auckland, Noumea, meet in the beautiful New Caledonia, and let's make a really cool race out of it. So I was over there with Tony Love. I'm sure you guys have probably heard his name in the place. And then so I met the Vice Commodore of Royal Akarana. We worked on the race. We got it all together, all happening, hunky-dory. I flew home, changed bags, and then took myself to America for a 6-week holiday because I was told by Royal Queensland, you have a year's worth of holiday and you need to start taking it. So I packed up and went on a break.
Wow.
Whilst I was in Chicago, and I got a phone call from a New Zealand phone number, and I'm like, this is a bit dodgy, decline. Yeah. Got another call back. Got a call back, and it was it was the Commodore who basically said, "Oh, look, we'd like to have a chat with you about coming over to New Zealand to do what you've done for Royal Queensland and come and help us and relaunch the club and get sailing going again to like how it was in its heyday." To be fair, I originally actually said no. I'm like, I'm actually on a pretty good. I'm really liking Royal Queensland, and come on, Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron is pretty
Not
acceptable
bad.
yacht club.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So it took a lot for me to actually have that conversation. But then when I finally did, and I went to Auckland, I met the team and I saw the shed that was the yacht club, but I saw their vision of what they had to create for the future, which is now the Hyundai Marine Sports Centre, home of the Royal Akarana Yacht Club, in this amazing facility on the waterfront, right in front of Course C for the 36 America's Cup. Like, it was right there.
Yeah.
So Cameron Dunn and I were upstairs commentating the racing. Instead of looking at the screen, we just looked out the window, and it was amazing. So I saw the vision of the club, and I'm very much a yacht club girl as well. I like, yacht clubs are actually the reason that any of us actually get to go sailing. So I think it's really important to look after your yacht club and do a really good job for your yacht club. And so I just went, all right, let's give this a go. Thought I'd give it a 6 months to a year. And this year I'll be here 13 years.
Just on the Akarana a little bit, because I remember...
Say that again.
Akarana.
Oh.
There we go. Akarana.
Actually, to be fair, I don't even think I say it properly.
Well, actually, I need to be a bit more Kiwi myself, given my role and position. But in saying that, it was pretty
Aussie that's moved to Kiwi to work there?
Oh, kind of, for about, a week, a month.
All right, continue.
But I want to hear you say I'm going to go down to Akarana with my Subaru.
It was pretty lofty ambitions, the yacht club development or redevelopment. I remember being around that same sort of time, 2010, I think it was, to see what the plans were for down there. And then you turn up a couple years later, and there it is. It is actually the dream.
The people that made it happen, honestly, they deserve every accolade they can possibly get, because having a facility like that, literally on the water. I mean, I'm sure you guys saw the 49er and NACRA 17 Worlds there in late 2019, early 2020. I mean, it was amazing. The setup, the facilities, and the building wasn't even finished then. But, you know, they made it happen and got the event off the ground. And then unfortunately, 2.5 months later, had to close the doors of this brand new unfinished building because of COVID lockdowns. So, yeah.
What was COVID? I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That was that thing that happened a little while ago.
Changed everyone's lives, that one.
Turn of the 19th century or something.
Yep. But, I mean, through all that, you know, Liz Saldoa continued to grow. And now I think you're doing Australia, doing New Zealand, you're into the UK. So it is really turning into quite a major brand. Why did you? Why is it like, you know, we talk about the love for sailing? Like, what's your sailing is your drug? Is that's your little
LSD? Live, sail, die. LSD.
Yeah.
Sailing is my drug.
That's it. It's just pretty colours when you do it. That's the difference, you know. Like, you got all the mushrooms,
shine, lollipops, rainbows, and a good breeze.
That's it.
Lucy in the sky.
So for the motivation from your perspective, is it just more people sailing? Is you wanted to share the love of the sport, or?
I think one of the things is, like, I remember back when I was a kid growing up, and you were lucky to get a photo every 6 months of you sailing. And it was kind of like a big deal to actually have a photo of you sailing. And I think one of the things that keeps me coming back to this is that I get to go to all of these amazing youth regattas and see the next generation come through and create these memories for these kids that in 20 years' time, when they're campaigning for an Olympics, you know, they'll look back and go, wow, I did the P-class Tanner Cup or Tauranga Cup. I did the Styling Nationals. Oh, I did that regatta down at Murray's Bay. And excuse me, sorry. And I think, sorry, cut that. For me,
too much work.
For me, it's being able to create those memories for the next generation, and, you know, and to show the world that it doesn't matter what you sail, you can make your best life friends on the rigging lawn. You know, and a perfect example is that, you know, I'm actually not friends with anyone I went to school with because we had nothing in common. But I'm still friends with, you know, the kids that I grew up with sailing in the Manly Junior and the Flying 11. And I'll do a little shout out to Nath Wilmot. You know, he and I have been mates since we were kids. And, you know, you don't see each other very often. You don't run into each other very often. But when you're in the same city, you make an effort to see each other, and it's like no time has passed. So I think it's the friendships. I know that kind of sounds a little corny, but
we're going on about it all the time.
Well, not really, because reality is that's how our friendships started, basically on the water or on the lawn, basically. So, we get that 100%. And I guess you can, just going on that a little bit, you probably see that now. You see these kids come through, and they're the relationships that they've had, and they go off, sail different classes, they come back together, they see each other again. And in NZ, there's no better place for that, I wouldn't imagine.
Well, I guess one of the things is, like, when I moved over here, when I was at Royal Akarana, I met these kids that were going through the Learn to Sail program, you know, and they're 8, 9 years old. And I remember there was these 3 kids in particular, and I remember saying to them, I'm like, oh, well, guys, if I'm still here in 10 years' time, you'll be buying me a beer at the bar. And you know what? Those 3 kids are, and they're now sailing 18-foot skiffs. Okay. And it's like, wow, you know, back when you were learning how to sail your opti, and look at this, 10 years later, I'm now helping you guys get into the 18-foot skiffs and get to the JJs. So I think it's quite special. I don't have kids of my own. So for me, I put all of that energy that I would have if I had kids into helping the next generation. And that's the thing that gets me out of bed in the morning.
I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
So with the move, before we get into the in-depth of a few things, but with the move, are you noticing much difference between Australia And what happened? What sailing's like in Australia versus New Zealand? What sailing's like in New Zealand?
New Zealand has probably some of the most passionate weekend warrior sailors I think I've ever come across.
Yeah.
When I moved over here, obviously, and it was like new and exciting, I was sailing every single day in a different class. And I'm like, wow. I mean, I spent a lot of time in Sydney, but again, to be fair, I was going through the dinghy classes and what have you, and wasn't really on the keelboat scene. And I'm sure you can do that in Sydney as well, which, I know you can. But in Brisbane, you can't as well. Like, Brisbane, it's, it was our Friday night twilight adventures, racing.
Yep.
And and Wednesday WAGs and Saturday club racing. So you could, you could sail 3 days a week. But moving to Auckland, and it was just, like, I remember I landed on a Tuesday or a Wednesday or something, and I sailed the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, started the job on the Monday, and then went sailing Monday night. It's just like, okay, all right.
Prerequisite of the job, right?
Yeah.
Kind of lucky I like this sport. Yeah. And it's cool, like, and they're old classes that they sail, like the Stuart 34s, young 88s, it's the MRXs. They're just these old classes that are so well maintained. And, there's no real pro sailors around. If the pro sailors are in town, they'll jump on and have a sail, but it's all, I don't know, it's just for the love of it. And I think that's one of the things that I really levitated and wanted to stay in New Zealand longer, because I'm like, these people are so passionate. And I realize it's a small country, so there's not much else to do but go yachting or play rugby.
I've got to say, with the Sail GP, where I do a lot of stuff with the crowd, New Zealand's so much fun. It is just so much fun. Because
and educated as well, right?
Such a good, it's so easy with the crowd because they all know about sailing, and they're, as you say, boss, they are totally educated and they're ready for a laugh. It's I must admit, I was on the plane the other day going, I can't wait to do New Zealand. It's going to be great. So, good country. I mean,
it is good.
I believe you haven't moved to New Zealand, Jordan.
Oh, they speak funny.
Perfect place. Sailing, rugby.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
They enjoy a laugh. Oh, actually, they enjoy a laugh. So, you probably wouldn't fit in.
Yeah, so what about classes of the differences? Like the things that you remember from, growing up on the Clarence and then RQ and versus that, like you mentioned a few of the Starlings and the P classes, and I don't know what else they got going on there. They got a few different classes.
I guess the one of the big differences that I've noticed with the junior classes is in Oz, well, on the East Coast, you got your Manly Junior and your Flying 11, two amazing youth classes that teach you double-handed sailing from a young age and how to use the front flappy sail. And in New Zealand, there's no real youth two-handed class. It's single-handed class. So you got the P class, or the Opti, of course, which is international, but then the P class and the Starling, which are two local boats. But they're single-handed. Yeah. And so it's not really until they go into the 29er are these kids then getting into the two-handed sailing or the 420. So I think that's probably the biggest difference. Is I reckon that Australia does have a slight advantage over that, but then, oh gosh, Kiwis are going to listen and they're going to throw something at me. You know what? I think equally they're both great.
Just watch out for that jandle as it goes flying
past. And don't trip over the chili bin as you're going past.
Yeah. I caught it in Esky the other day and I nearly had a thong thrown at me.
As you were going over the speed hump, not the Jota bar.
I said that I was sitting on sitting on the back of V5, the 52 owned by Brian Peterson over here on Friday for a rum race.
Yeah. We call him Kiwi BP.
The other BP. Oh, the other BP. There's another BP, Kiwi BP. Exactly. And I remember I was like, oh, and BP says to me, oh, what do you want to do? And I said, well, why don't I just, trim the esky? And he goes, the what? I said, oh, I'll just trim the esky. He goes, you've been in New Zealand for over 10 years now, Suellen. And I'm like, sorry, I'll trim the chili bin.
There's no way. There's no way.
It's got no roll on it. It's way right? Too many.
I'm amazed he didn't say, Suellen. Well, the last Aussie we had on here, we had to kick him off because he spoke even with more of an accent,
Oh,
which was my good self. I think I said something very similar.
Did you
What do you
say
want
it
to
was
do? Same
on the
answer. Yeah, same answer. Yeah, I'll look after the beers or something like that.
Yeah, I'll get a beer out of the esky. No, you want a delicious out of the chili bin.
Oh, one of the differences that I've noticed over here is that when in the trolley bun that the Kiwis have, a lot of craft beers.
It's that way over here now too. The craft beers are emerging pretty hard in Oz.
Give me a draft any day.
Yeah, but it's all those funky crew that they have on board of a Friday night. You know?
They're pretty rad.
Hipsters.
All those hipsters.
I'm not cool enough to be a regular.
Wearing their chinos, twirling their moustaches.
Your bloody perception of Kiwis is quite hilarious.
It's the crowd he hangs with. It's the crowd he hangs with. All right. So, in terms of sailing for you, is it where's the main passion? Are you still a dinghy person at heart, or yep?
I'm definitely. I mean, yeah, keelboat racing is fun, but I am all about one design racing.
Yep.
You know, and I know a lot of people sort of roll their eyes when I say this, but I really do love the Ilka class. I love that it's not actually about the boat, but it is actually about the sailor. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm quite passionate about the class. And I was fortunate enough to be the class photographer at the Worlds in The Hague. And, you know, they're bloody athletes, hey. They have to sail harder and longer than any other Olympic sailing class.
Only because it takes
bang
longer.
for buck.
Oh, yeah.
No, 100%. Having just wandered down the Adelaide Sailing Club not long ago, and you take a look around, it is like it's an athlete's to be at the top end of the game. Like you see Wernie getting around, and you're like, he should be doing like the long jump or something. He's
I know, right?
Proper athlete. But then at
you weren't
the other
too bad
end,
in your day though, Bice. You remember the lake? Remember up the lake, the winter championships you won?
Yeah. We won't dwell on that. But then of course you can get everyone else in the fleet as well. And they are enjoying it as much as everyone. And I tend to agree. It rejuvenated my love for the laser or the Ilka class the other day, just seeing the hundreds of boats down there. And now the boats.
In the water, mate?
No way, mate. My days are gone.
The other advantage of that class, of course, is accessibility, you know, and that's why World Sailing, you know, they were looking at replacing it for the Olympics. But in terms of accessibility, it offers everything for all the world nation, you know, sailing management, I guess. Yeah. So but in terms of being happy at the yacht club, you know, and smiles on the lawn, is it offering that?
I think it is. Like, there's 100 boats entered at this nationals here this week, and you've got a 12-year-old on the same race course as a 78-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, there's not many classes that can do that. And, you know, seeing the age variety and the amount of women that are in the class now and the young girls in New Zealand who have jumped into the class because it is affordable, single-handed, so you don't have to deal with, you know, crew issues and, you know, chuck it on the top of your car and off you go. And so I think that's one of the, definitely one of the reasons that I love the class. I only sailed it a few times myself. I tried to be really good back in the day, but just wasn't quite good enough. But the class is one of those things. It's consistent, it's reliable, and it doesn't matter where you go in the world, you'll find someone who sails.
Find one.
Yeah.
Or you find one on a beach somewhere or whatever, and there's the local kids out playing in it. No, I agree. It's good. Yeah,
I think it is cool. And you remember, you know, one of your best Australian sailors actually made the class really cool.
Oh, yeah? Which one? Did we? I mean, the Australians have a pretty good record in that class.
They do, actually. Actually, I'm going to say two guys. I'm going to say, Michael Blackburn and Tom Slingsby. You'd have to say that they really helped make the class pretty cool over there.
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't me, BP. Shit.
Yeah.
You remember that regatta up the lake?
Yeah.
Wasn't it Blackburn that sailed it across Bass Strait?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
I mean, what a legend.
Yeah.
What a legend.
One of Slinger's favourite stories is, you know, like when he was world champion and Olympic champion with his wife, when they were dating, they went on to, you know, a resort and they had lasers in the regatta and the beach the beach instructor was trying to give him instructions on how to sail.
Yeah. Push it away from you. Pull it towards you.
The other away, mate. The other away. No, you can't sail head to wind. The sail's flapping. You got it.
But the other one design class that I love, and I'm actually really stoked to be doing an event for them, is the Etchels.
Oh, here we go. Which event are you going to be doing with the Etchels?
I'm actually going to be working for the Down Under Sail guys at the World in Perth.
Oh, there you go.
Well, that's going to be a good regatta. Yeah.
Which one design part of the class are you going to look after?
Because there's 3. Did you know that?
No, okay. I've
controversy in the class.
No, that's purely aimed at me. That one.
Yeah. So that with the Etchels, so you're going to West Oz to do a bit of coverage. So all the way from New Zealand to.
That's almost
so.
Half around the world,
Suellen, how's your calendar look? You obviously, like you say, you're at the NZ Ilka Nationals now. Do you just line up a bunch of events in advance? In the meantime, obviously keep the website running. You just on the road constantly?
Constantly. I was actually just flicked over to my calendar there. So this weekend, I drive back. It's a 5 and a bit hour drive from Napier back to Auckland. So I'll leave at 5:30 tomorrow morning, get back up, roll straight into the yacht club at Akarana, and then go out with Graham Catley and follow the 18-foot skiffs around for the last 2 days of their nationals. Then next week on Auckland Anniversary Day, doing the photography for Auckland Anniversary Day Regatta, which probably sees about 1,000 boats on the harbour. It's massive. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then 2 days later, jump on a plane and fly down to Littleton for the Zephyr Nationals. Yes. The Zephyrs are another. I need to mention them. They're a bloody cool Kiwi one design class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
All happening in the land.
And then off to Perth, Europe. Does that all come into it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we'll end up in Europe this year. We're just working out some of our plans around the Cup. We'll probably do something similar to what we did when the Cup was in Auckland here last time. We're hopefully going to get Cam Dunn back on board.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So
good team, that one.
That was actually really good. Yeah.
So obviously all the dinghy stuff you're talking about. So you started to go into the Cup. Where do you stand on sort of the offshore stuff? Like obviously we crap on about the round, the Volvo, and we crap on about the Amoka stuff and quite a bit because there's a lot of interest out there on that. So where are you on that one? What do you think? Which classes jump out at you?
Well, actually, let's actually make a special mention to the Ocean Globe Race sailors. Yep. They just did their stopover in Auckland. And what is it, like 14 boats or something started? I think 11 are still in it or something like that. Sailing around the world in old boats with, no modern technology.
Listening to their cassette player.
Honestly, I mean, I couldn't think of anything worse. But full credit to those sailors that are doing that around the world race. Look, unfortunately, Auckland has missed out on a lot of stopovers with the Volvo in the last few years, which is a bit of a shame. But in the world of offshore racing, I need to do a plug for the Akarana's Auckland Noumea race. This year, 25th of March, it starts. I actually put a cheeky comment on Wild Things post. They did a calendar of events, so I suggest that they should do the Auckland Noumea. The Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron is running the Three Kings race. I don't know. Do you guys know about the Three Kings Islands at the top of New Zealand? Yeah, it's a pretty cool.
Oh, that's the long race. That's a 500 miler.
Yeah, 500-mile race. That's in April that they're doing that one.
I think that's on the radar. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good race. It was run in 2013, and then obviously a bit of a break, and then Squadron picked it up and ran it again 2 years ago, and they're going to do it again this year, which is great. Offshore racing's probably been a little bit on the decline over the last few years. So it's really important for the clubs that do run it to work really hard to promote it and get the entries in and get a back to its heyday. I don't think we'll ever see 180 boats on a start line racing to Fiji like we did in the 70s. But if we can get 25 boats racing in an offshore race that leaves the country and 1,000 miles into a tropical sunset, it's not bad.
One of the things that the Kiwis are pretty good at is the double-handed stuff.
Yes, definitely shout out to the Short-Handed Sailing Association of New Zealand, completely run by volunteers. They nail the short-handed racing. Yeah. So put it this way, around North Island race, which it's 2 weeks that you've kind of got to take out of your life to do it, but you've also got about a year of planning ahead of that. And they've actually, when they open entries, like they sell out in minutes. Wow. You've actually got to go on a waiting list if you want, if you've not sat there like trying to buy your big day out tickets. Is that still a thing, big day out? I don't know. But trying to buy your festival or your Taylor Swift tickets, the lottery for your Taylor Swift ticket. It's like that with entering a sands race, and their triple series that they do in the winter, 180 something boats on the start line for a horrendous winter sailing in New Zealand, and they can't get enough of it.
Yeah, wow.
So, but based on those comments, Suellen, the fact that offshore sailing is declining from a fully crewed perspective, but increasing from a double, is that basically just telling the world something that we just don't want to admit?
I think so.
You need to go short-handed. Yeah.
I mean, when you see, TP52s getting raced short-handed, it's like, what on earth? You guys are nuts. Yeah. And then you've got your pidies that are racing two-handed. They've cracked a beer before the start gun is even gone. So you've got one extreme to the other. It's actually really cool to watch. To be fair, this is going to sound a bit sloppy, but it's a privilege to be able to showcase that kind of racing because they're just full fizzes.
I love it.
Yeah.
Actually,
absolutely.
Suellen, I've got a question that you will be impartial. You can provide the decision for us. One of my idiot mates, rabbits on about the Adelaide to Lincoln being the greatest blue water event in Australia. And, another one...
It's not me, by the way.
Yeah, and another one mentions the Brisbane to Gladstone as being much more important. I just wonder where you stand on which one's the more important sailing event for the calendar.
In Australia or New Zealand?
Just in Australia. So you're an outsider now. You're enough removed where you can't get in trouble. No Australian can hit you with their thong.
General, excuse me. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to go with the. It's not to Keppel anymore, but the Brisbane to Hamilton Island. It used to be.
I just snubbed you both. Because... Well done, Suellen. I think that's so cool.
Only because I was involved with getting that race.
He's just fallen off his chair.
No. I thought you were going to go for the Grafton Classic.
Oh my God, the bridge to bridge.
The bridge to bridge.
The Harwood Bridge to the Clarence River Bridge.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
My dad, just going back to that crazy character, my dad built in our backyard in Grafton, a Granger Raider cat.
Oh, yeah.
With Granger.
Cool. Very cool.
And it's the story and it's history. Let's just pretend. But he set a record in that race. I can't remember what it was, but I believe that it was one of the longest standing records for the bridge to bridge, from the Harwood Bridge to the Clarence River, the Grafton Bridge.
What are we talking distance-wise?
A long way. Put it this way, it took 11 hours when we did it in a flying 11.
Oof.
Oh.
So
I'm on a flying 11.
Scotty Babbage, Tina Babbage, myself, another guy, Jacob, we actually did the race in our flying 11s because, that's what you do as teenagers.
Yeah.
And we did the race in something like, I think it was between 11 and 12 hours it took us to do that race.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was the record?
That's when kids were kids, just one bottle of water, a couple of lolly snakes, all good.
Mate,
these days, you got to take everything and pack a packed lunch and
safety gear and got to have radios.
What were you guys pimping the other day? Your Nutrix, what is it?
Radix. Oh yeah, you got to have a full Radix program running these days. Got to have electrolytes. Oh, There goes my alarm. Another banana needed. All good.
Hey, no bananas on boats. Come on now. Jesus. Blasphemy.
So what was the record that your father, how quick did your father do it? If you did 11 hours in the
I think they did it in
flying
something
11.
stupid like
38 minutes.
3 hours or something like, something stupid. I can't remember. So let's just make it up.
Yeah.
27 minutes.
2 hours.
Well, the bridge at
All right,
Clarence now, there's a lot more room to get mass under that bridge these days. It's a much taller bridge, so you know you
I
could.
thought you were going to say there's much less water.
No.
It's a lifting bridge.
Oh no, no. She's a giant, huge, tall bridge now. The bridge at Clarence is like it's
gone. The old bridge.
Yeah. You could sail a cruise liner under the thing these days. She's
I need to go back and visit my hometown.
Yeah. You had to get a run up in the Volkswagen Combi to get over it. You know, like
Wow.
If that didn't work, you had to go up in reverse.
That run up starts in Sydney.
So shout out for the original Brisbane to Keppel, which is now your Brisbane to Hamilton. But yeah, shout out as well for the bridge to bridge classic.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of yacht club bias just came into that one. Just I think picked up on that one.
I know where my bread's still
very
buttered.
local. Sounds very local.
Well played. I'm interested. One of the things that you mentioned a couple of minutes ago, we talked about some controversy in Barkarati. We avoid trying to do controversial subjects, even though when we do them, the ratings skyrocket. How do you feel like, you know, from hosting your website and talking about sailing? You know, do you have a policy on that? Like, is it all positive and rainbows and LSD and that sort of stuff?
Unicorns.
Yeah, look, to be fair, we made a decision. And when I say we, Live Sail Die, I'm very lucky and very fortunate to have some really good partners on the team. And we made the decision that we were going to focus on all the great parts of the sport. We're going to promote sailing in a positive manner, and we're going to leave the clickbait crap to everyone else, because it's, for us, the news in the world is just full of horrible stuff all the time. So why do we want to add to that? And sailing is something that we all do. Most of us all do it because it's our passion. And, it's what we do on the weekends. It's what we do after work. We're not all pros. So, why do you want to bag a sport that actually gives you so much? And for me, it's my livelihood and I love the sport. Sure, there's things about sailing that grind my gears, but at the end of the day, it has provided me with a life that I don't think would be possible if I tried to do anything else. So I respect the sport in that manner.
We had we mentioned, or we gave a bit of a plug to what they're calling it, the Bang the Bar. Our mates down in Victoria were doing this event during the Hobart where they are reaching course between two yacht clubs, and they wait 4-day window and just go when they got the perfect conditions. And we love that because it's something new, right? So Barkarati, we're more than happy to embrace that. With the prospect of all the sailing has become really sort of focused on youth, developing for the Olympics, the performance path. What do you think about sort of different sort of types of regattas, or regattas doing different sort of sailing and different sort of events, like fun stuff? Would you do that in an ILCA, for example? Like, I'm interested.
I'm all for that. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because it was just the other day I was talking on the phone and I'm like, we all need to, like, us sort of key players in New Zealand, we need to get our heads together and actually see what we can do to mix things up and actually change how we do racing. And, you've got your passionate sailors that go out on every Wednesday night, go around the same yellow marks, go back to the bar, have a yarn, pack up, go home. But at some point, it's like, when does that become too monotonous? Like, when do you want to start trying to mix that up? And so we were actually, honestly, a big discussion about how can we actually change sailing without changing sailing.
Dicey, sounds like she wants one of our red Barkarati Make Sailing Great Again hats.
Oh, I would wear it with pride.
Making sailing great. Have you observed, based on that, have you observed anything internationally that does do that, or has kind of ruptured the model, so to speak?
Not yet. I think there's still a lot of work to do to get away from doing, your old trapezoids, windward lewards, Olympic triangles, harbour races. I think there is definitely some work to do. How we change it and how we make it more exciting, I don't know. Maybe go back to, your Mark Foy starts, or maybe, RQ does that with the WAGs racing.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't even know what it would look like. I think you just need to get a bunch of people in a room and throw ideas around and see what we can do to actually.
It's interesting. Some of the most
more exciting,
even some of the most more famous yachties around, when they think back, well, more older generation now, when they think back of their greatest memories as youth, it was literally the couple of boys were chucked out in front of the yacht club, going back and forth. They come in, they have a barbecue. Like, it's that social element added to it.
I think the sausage, sanger and onions play a big part in this.
Yes, and you've just ignited a memory. Okay, Bellingen River Sailing Club. I'm talking circa 1994, 95. And we actually had a regatta that we called Mylar Girl, Dacron Boy. and the trophy was this bit of 2x4 piece of pine wood with 2 troll dolls stuck on top, dressed as sailors, and just written, Mylar Girl, Dacron Boy. And it was a pursuit race that we did in the Manly Juniors and the Flying 11s, where you had to sail around that mark, but then you had to swim to the next mark, then you had to eat a chili, and then you had to scull some milk, and then you had to get back in the boat and try and not vomit. And it was hilarious. It was so much fun. Oh, gosh, I remember that. Mylar Girl.
So what is good about that is that, if you think of it from a coaching perspective, you're creating fun, but the whole time they're doing that, the boat handling skills are being developed. You don't have to race seriously to develop your skills. You just got to sail.
It's
putting yourself,
bum on the gunnel.
That's
type
it.
Thing.
Yeah,
we did that. We did something similar a few years ago. I think it was maybe 2019 at Cowell Island. You guys know Cowell Island, right? The Cowell Boating Club, quite an iconic location in New Zealand, and we. The M class, the classic M class that I was sailing back then, the boats all went up to Cowell, and we did just like a regatta, and I say that term very loosely. We literally raced around anchored boats, fired cannons, and caused all kinds of issues, but that's okay. But we had on one of the days, it was some of the wives of the guys that were up there, they created this race for us, and it was quite similar, where we had to swim out to the boats, jump in the boats, sail around some anchored boats that are enjoying their beautiful, relaxing weekend, sail over to another beach. There was a bunch of cups down. You had to pick up a cup, and whatever was underneath it, you had to eat it. I think I actually had a cockroach or something like that. But guys are, just
They're
it was
okay with pepper.
Then sail to Mansion House Bay, and you had to scull a beer, and then you had to hold the top of a broom and run around it 10 times. I mean, you could probably make a world championship just out of that, to be fair.
You could. I do like it.
World cockroach eating.
Well,
we touched on
the Kiwis that do well in that.
Yeah,
we touched on shorthanded sailing a second ago. One of the things that's happening now, which is really big in the UK, is 2 really short sort of races on a Saturday. Then you head to a club, which might be hosting the event. So it's the social side of it that people are screaming for as well. Not so much the let's get out there and win a gold medal. I mean, yeah, okay, that's part of it, but the social side of it is really, really should be the focus as well.
I think that's one thing that Australia. Oh God, please, any Kiwis listening, just bear with me here. One thing that Australia does really well is the socializing after sailing, because the majority of keelboat clubs have got marinas right attached to them right there. Whereas, over here, there's not many clubs that actually have a marina as part of the club. So, like West Haven, for example, there's 3 yacht clubs there, but by the time you've got your boat back and you've had a beer on your boat, it's another you got to get in the car, drive to the yacht club, or drive right around the other side, or what have you, to get back to the yacht club, for that socializing. So I think we do need to make more of an effort as sailors, that if you are racing a keel boat and your boat is berthed right along the other side, just remember that people have put on your race. So jump in your car and go around and support the yacht club and get that social side going again.
Cool, like it.
Hope that's fair to say.
No, it's good.
Absolutely.
It's good.
But I remember, like after our Wednesday, your WAGs racing and your Friday twilight racing that we did at RQ, the bar was packed.
Oh, the Wednesday, the twilight stuff, like
out of control.
Saturdays, you see it here, and I don't think any yacht club in the world is the opposite. But the weekend stuff is everyone's got way less time. But for whatever, everyone has more time during the week. So of an evening, because you can step on the boat at 5, you're back at the, having a beer at 7:30 type thing. So,
well, weekends are now for family time, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going fishing actually this weekend.
Away from the family.
I missed the memo.
All right, so well, and we're sort of running out of time here. We're right down to the end of it. I do have to ask, just and you can not answer if you don't want, but do you have like a favourite boat class? Do you have a favourite event?
Good one.
That you like the most?
Oh God, you're really asking hard questions now.
Well, I mean, it's not really. It's the 505, and then
possibly the rainbow. Or the rainbow would have gone well in the bridge to bridge for sure.
Yes.
Can admit it. It's the Pirates too. Come on.
Is it okay if I actually sit on the fence and say I actually genuinely love all kinds of racing?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
100%.
Yeah,
I mean, all of all this fancy foiling stuff that's going around now. Do I love the AC75s? Do I love the AC40s? Do I love the F50s? You know what? They're cool, but it's a different kind of sailing.
Yeah.
I'm very much a traditionalist when it comes to sailing. It's about reading the water. It's not about how many buttons you can push. It's your sail trim. It's not who's talking in your ear. I love traditional sailing. I mean, I'm someone that'll sit and watch that Johnny Bertram's documentary on Netflix, about the old school America's Cup racing. The
untold story.
Untold, yeah. I think that's
never been told.
like told a million times. But I think, I got into sailing because I could get out there on my own in my sabo on the river, and it was just me, and I had to figure stuff out myself. And I think that's the part of sailing that I really love, is that it's up to you and you've got to figure it out.
Very cool.
Okay, but I really love the laser class. We've already talked about that. Sorry. I really like Edge Bills. I love M class. I love the Zephyrs. I love the Manly Junior. Sailing that as a kid growing up, that was just some of the coolest days ever. Love the Flying 11 and love the bridge to bridge. And I actually really do love the Hobart. A little bit of a shout out to the Hobart finish. Edge of my seat, sailing in slow motion like I've never seen before, and I loved it.
Oh, yes.
Cool. Very cool.
But I just have to say, though, I think the race to the finish between URM and Alive, that was
a lot of people sort of with the that aren't in the sailing scene. Oh, geez, I love watching the finish. I said, you didn't even watch the finish.
I mean,
yes, I did.
Yeah.
I said, no.
The URM and Alive finish, I think, was brilliant because you actually saw the results change with about 3-4 minutes to go. Yeah. They had 3 or 4 minutes to the finish line, and boom, the IRC results overall changed. And that was awesome.
Yeah, it's
glued to the tracker as we were
glued to the tracker. It's actually a bit of a sore point of mine. It's a bit of a sore point of mine. The miss what's the word? The sort of how the Tattersalls Cup actually goes under the radar in standard media. It just gets me.
I think it's the most important part of the whole bloody race.
We know that.
Yeah.
Well, it's a sore part of mine. I had my money on URM, so I lost about $400. $2.80. By the way, we do not condone betting.
I actually rang the
imagine
ABs.
what else you could be spending that money on.
And it's great to see that there was some pretty solid Kiwi names on those winning boats.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
It's true. It's 100% true. All right, Suellen, absolute pleasure to hang out. I think we should do a yearly update with you. Like, it's a lot of fun chatting to you.
Definitely.
I think last time was in the bar at the CYCA.
Cruising Yacht Club of Australia,
it was.
correct?
All three of us were there together.
Yeah.
Before a Hobart.
Oh.
That's right. I was over there before a Hobart. Yeah. That was 2019.
Okay.
Pre-COVID, that one.
We might
Great
make
year.
it a little bit more earlier. But yeah, a ton of fun catching up and really appreciate you taking the time to chat to us.
No worries. Thanks for having me, guys. And you do great work. There you go.
So do you.
Thanks,
so do you.
Suellen.
Well,
Let's pat each other on the back. I love it.
high fives.
High five, everyone. Poke himself in the eye.
A bit of Seppo bullshit the West Indians introduced to the game.
Yeah,
don't worry,
we'll cut
Suellen.
that bit.
Stay on subject, BP.
Never.
Beauty. Given I am the honorary Kiwi,
You are.
I'll come out of this one. Good chat. So, doing good stuff. I definitely know I'm on her website or on the Libsale Die website quite often, just checking things out. And I'll let you in on a little secret. Hot time with Bice. It's all Libsale Die.
No plagiarism here.
Not at all. No,
No.
but just a couple of comments actually on a few of those things, about kids in the sport, just bringing people around. I've got a proposal.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah, we haven't had one yet.
We should move all the Bunnings in Australia down to the waterfront.
Oh.
And you're running your racing out of that sausage,
Sausage sizzles.
pre-prepared sausage sizzle.
Sausage sizzle and garden hoses.
And everyone comes in. It's un-Australian to walk past this is what I'd say to my wife. It's un-Australian to go to Bunnings and not have a sausage. So imagine that on the beach, sausage sizzle, boats are sailing.
Mhm.
You're standing there having sausage, learning about sailing. That's how you get people into the sport.
So it's,
Pop
every.
down for a new hose fitting, walk out with an optic.
There you go. Get your gyprock for your soundproofing, all that sort of stuff.
I love it. I love it.
Absolutely.
And actually, I was thinking, that bringing the kids into the sport and stuff, and weekends are for family time and all those sorts of things. I might write to Nintendo, who came up with the Mario Kart, which kids are just obsessed with gaming. We actually bring in a boat. You can choose an opti, so they can choose their boat virtually first. Next thing, it might give them a bit of stimulation. Get out there. Who knows?
Love it. Love it.
I like the way the ideas flow on the show.
The ideas flow. Speaking of ideas, we've been banging on about Radix for quite some time now. But you're actually doing it, BP. I saw a photo you posted the other day.
Nailed it.
You took
Nailed it.
over the
Well-
Barkarati page
Well,
with about 1,000 packets of Radix on your
yeah, the new
kitchen
packaging.
table.
The new packaging.
Are you
It's
like
out.
the? Are you
It's
like
out.
the new? What's our word for it? The new?
Radix ambassador.
No, that's definitely not it.
The Rambassador.
Slam me down.
What do we call Rob Greenhouse? The test
Oh,
pilot. The
Test rig.
Test rig.
Test rig.
testing rig.
The
You're
Radix.
the new test rig.
Well, I thought you were doing. I
His
thought you were
toilet's
doing.
the test rig.
I thought you were doing a. You were doing a Radix test this month.
Yeah, I am, but I
How's that
turn
going?
an 800 calorie meal into an 8,000 calorie meal by dropping
By
a
adding-
lump of brisket into it.
Yeah, but that's what it's there for. Anyway, so no, the new packaging is out. It's smaller, same size food, but it's smaller and more dense, less water. It's working out well for.
That's good for
yachting.
offshore.
It's good for that sort of thing. We talked about this a little while ago.
Yeah, that all comes into the equation.
Mm.
Like
Less
specifically
space.
for high performance stuff.
Yeah,
for sure.
no,
So
it's good. So the V9 range is out, and I'm giving it a crack.
Good on you.
Ah.
So, and for our listeners who want to give the Radix Nutrition a crack, obviously go to their website. And when you do purchase some, you can put Barkarati into the discount code, and you'll get a discount on us. So Radix Nutrition, give it a go. It's fantastic. V9 is out. BP's
Yes.
all over it.
I'll love it.
I love it. It's very cool. We'll roll into other news. club events, boys. BP, this one's going to be one you're interested in, and we
I'd be in BP's wheelhouse.
This is me. I'm loving it.
the
Really excited.
Bay of while we're doing the New Zealand theme, the Bay of Islands Sailing Week, 24 to 26 Jan, biggest event of its kind in New Zealand.
You
A
guys,
multi-day,
any of you guys done this?
no, multi-day
Biggest
sailing
ore,
regatta
per favore.
primarily for keelboats, trailer yachts, and multi-hulls. It's like Hamo, basically.
It's like Hamo. It's
Yeah.
like Hamo. But yeah, I head over on Sunday. It's actually a family affair. I'm taking the wife and kids. We're going to stay up in Russell, and we're doing the Bay of Islands Race Week. So very excited. I'm doing it on the Far X too. So
Wow.
look, we've entered into the island. The biggest fleet is the Islands class, around the Islands class.
Yep.
I think there's about 45 boats in that particular class. So am super excited. We'll have a bit of a rundown of it. For
Oh,
next
mate,
week, I
if
think.
you don't record something live from the rail, no, that's not a challenge because I know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So for those that follow the Facebook page, you're going to be seeing some live stuff coming.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of new little ideas coming out over the next couple of weeks, in particular with all that stuff. But the racing starts on the next week, Wednesday. There's a practice race on the Tuesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's a bit shorter than in the past, but that's fine.
Cool.
Looking forward to it.
So finishing on the 26th January, which is of course Australia Day. So obviously
It is Australia Day.
Yeah. So will it be live on New Zealand TV?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Australia Day.
I think KO's picked it up.
Well, it'll be live somewhere.
It'll be live
Probably on
somewhere.
Barkarati socials.
Yeah, I love it.
Or standing on the beach in Russell.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, all the competitors have a great regatta. Should be a ton of fun. BP will be there, so look out for him and make sure you.
Mike Moose Sanderson is going up, so it'll be good to catch up with him. And
He's sailing his cherub.
No, he's selling rehab. I think it's a Shore 9.
It's a big cherub, basically.
Got the kids on
The
board.
love continues.
So going straight back to our discussion with Suellen, he's people like Moose are coming back into this type of sailing, bringing the kids up, and so it's handing the love down.
Yep, no, it's good.
Cool.
And also during our little chat with Suellen, we mentioned the Ilka Worlds. They start this week, so Adelaide Sailing Club or Radelaide Sailing Club, if you're looking up online.
That's with the capital R.
Capital
by the
R
way.
for
Radelaide.
Capital R.
Yeah.
So hopefully everyone survives and not too many people get eaten by sharks. But Adelaide is fantastic sailing. It is.
It's only one year.
There was so literally at time of listening, they would have probably just starting to hook into it. And people are coming to town, and I saw all the world's boats laid out on the grass in front of the yacht club, sailing club yesterday. Given I was now, fellas, that along the West Beach Caravan Park area, they have this thing called Mega Climb.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
That big bloody struck. Anyway, my kids made me go to it yesterday.
Oh no, how'd you go?
Fucking hell. Oh, mate. You got to put on a bit of a brave face when your kids are just crawling around and you're like a bloody monkey, just climbing up this thing. And finally you make your way to the very top, 4 or 5 stories up, and you've got to jump off, and it has this retractable line thing. And I was looking out, a few lasers out, like classic Adelaide sea breeze day.
Oh, nice.
Good
Nice.
20 to 25.
You're 5 stories.
Good 25. 5 stories up, almost getting blown off this bloody structure thing while I'm absolutely shitting myself. But wouldn't it be fantastic? I mean,
If it was like that,
if it was like that for those competitors, for the classic Adelaide sea breeze summer day.
No, I've got
that would be
I've pictured it.
unreal.
I'm picturing it now. On my days of windsurfing, those days were just, low tide, clean
For
blue
that-
water.
I was just looking at the weather map for Adelaide. Actually, and there's a few blue sky days coming up, so it could be solid sea breezes. And for the offshore overseas listeners, southern part of Australia, Adelaide, in South Australia, the weight of the wind down there, like a 20 knots in Adelaide, is a whole lot different to 20 knots up here in
4.8
Queensland.
kilogram per knot. 4.8 kilogram per knot.
It's a velocity thing. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just the denser air down south.
dense air. Yeah. Was actually mentioned by one Frank Bethwaite in High Performance Sailing, I believe.
Oh, was it? Well, all I know is
that and the Doctor. So the Sea Breezes in Adelaide and the Doctor.
I remember when I moved up to Queensland from Adelaide, and all my big wind sailing gear, my windsurfing gear, that I haven't ever unrolled anything less than my bigger sails. It's just the weight of the wind here is completely different. So for the laser sailors, you'll be hiking. You'll be right on your tippy toes hiking on that little strap. So a lot of pain coming your way. Other worlds is the IQ4s, which we also mentioned. So their world champs kick off Australia Day, 26th through to 3rd. So good luck to everyone competing in them. I think the F18s nationals are starting this week. 505 nationals in Jervis Bay in New South Wales, which is one of the most beautiful parts of the world. It is absolutely gorgeous. And of course, remember, we did the international canoe discussion, and our mate, one of our mates there, was the Commodore at Jervis Bay. So there might be a bit of international canoe sailing going on. I know there's a bit of building going on on their pages. So good luck to all those people that have finally graduated and made it to the ultimate class, the 505s, in their nationals, because they got a Worlds coming up soon in Radelaide.
There we go. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes,
so,
handling in Adelaide.
I don't know if you guys have seen this, just on club events, Sunburst Nationals in Wellington, starting on the 26th as well.
Rigged. Rigged.
I
you look at the names.
I did see that.
Up for such an event.
Yeah.
It's bloody rigged. These pro yachties, I tell you.
I know, they're just
are taking over
the whiz bangers there. The whiz bangers
Daryl's
coming
there.
out.
Whiz bang with daughter Pearl. Yep, the Beavis family.
Got Scotty Beavis, got Lockie. Mate, it's
Lockie
like
Hibbard. The Ginger of the Year award goes to Lockie every year.
If he goes well, he could find himself as part of the Ginger Challenge,
Well, he could. He's one of those underrated Gingers, actually. We have overlooked him, haven't we? Better get him in there.
But yeah, I saw some actually from Daryl Wislang's Facebook. He had Pearl in the loft the other day. Looks as though he's chucking a new set of rags on. Just got some graphics going on the shoot and stuff. So
hang on.
Whoa.
You're not allowed new sales on a Sunburst. Like, they've got to be at least 20 years old.
Yeah, I told you, mate. It's bloody rigged, these bastards.
It's gone bad.
Pro yachting's going to ruin the class.
Hey, got a little story about
Lockie. Good luck to everyone. We'll be keeping it close eye on it all.
Am I allowed to tell a little Lockie Hibbard story? Just a quick one.
Yeah, because everyone knows him. Yep.
Yeah. No, he's a beauty. He rocked up in Telefonica first day, and young green as sailmaker, and we all go down to the boat and we get on and we walk through and we're having a look, and this is getting built in King Marine. And he's walked down below and he's decided to walk from the back of the boat to the front inside, but they just laid the wet paint inside. And he's walked through the entire carbon boat with white footprints.
Red hair, white feet. You know what they say.
Oh, my God. First day on the job. You should have seen him. Anyway, I had to say that.
Love you, Lockie.
Yep. No, all good.
Moving on, boys. Listener of the week. We love all the messages and stuff we get, and we do get quite a few these days. It is quite daunting at times, but very grateful for them all. A little bit of fun banter coming through. I think we got a bit of brisket attention coming up by us. Everyone's just taking the piss this week.
Mate, there's more than that. In the globe around the, what's that other race around the world called? Single-handed globe, something. We got another one coming in.
Yeah, that's right.
He's heard.
Yeah, Andrew Stanley sent it's the tracking him into you, mate. So
yeah, that's right.
Then we got Mike Kay sending in baby photos of you, Bicey.
Yeah, Pickles, Michael Kammerman.
Nicky Bice. Nicky Bice, crude by Nicky Bice.
You're a cute little thing, weren't you? You look a lot like Tobes. No money spent on DNA tests in your world, mate.
Well, funny that, because I did break it out and just show the family all those photos that Pickle sent through, who was my skipper in Holdfast Trainers, by the way, when I was a young fella. So, but there's every single way that you could spell Nicky. And just to add to the story, for whatever reason, my name was Nicky Bice at the yacht club. And and I remember one night, Friday night dinner, and someone on the loudspeaker, Nicky Bice, your meal is ready. My name is not Nicky.
I could just imagine it. Good on you. I did actually have a private little chuckle when Nicky bites. There he is.
No, it was a bit of
Nostalgic.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, that's
come
the word
back
you
there
were digging
when
for.
I
That's
saw
the word you were digging for.
exactly when
Yeah,
people sent that through. So,
Yeah, that was nice.
good
There was some
shout out
nice
to the
ones.
cameramen.
Nice ones.
Yeah,
Another
some more of that.
another nice one was
more of that.
our mate Jan Sholton, Clogs,
Yes.
who is, part of the industry, contender sailcloth. Hi team, you'll be pleased to know our plotting cutting team has your podcast on high volume right now instead of music. Emma, Skippers, Shaw and Partners in the 18 skiff, and Ant just did the Hobart on Pretty Woman. Here they are cutting the ZZ Ultra Dyneema radial laminate for a large cat, and the other table's cutting a spinnaker. So a big shout out to...
Sounds like an advertisement to me.
Yeah, it does.
We don't get money for this.
We're not getting any money for it, but I do, obviously we...
Jan Sholton, contender sailcloth.
Yeah, well, next time we get some sales, we'll get a benefit. But no, just wanted to say good day because obviously there's a bit of passion from the team listening, and we appreciate everyone listening in. And if it's in the workplace, then that just makes us even happier because people smiling at work. And Clog says, "P.S. I'm heading back over to Adelaide again on the 31st for the Ilka Master World." So Clogs has been
hay playing guru.
The hay playing guru. They'd name a corner after him if there was a corner.
Clogsy Bend.
For those who don't know, the hay playing
300-kilometre bend.
It's just one big, long, flat piece of road.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll let Clogs,
120k.
we'll let Clogs drive it about 3 or 4 more times. Then we'll get him on to explain exactly what the hay plane is about.
In detail, every millimetre. It'd be a riveting story.
You reckon you've driven in isolation? Everyone thinks the Nullabore's a long one, but
maybe the hay plane won't be a good story, but I'll tell you what Clogs' story is, so we look forward to getting him on.
Absolutely.
Of course, keep sending them in because at each end of each month we pick the Vycobi Listener of the Month, and our mates at Vycobi doing a fantastic job. I think we might as well even roll into that, boys. Let me actually not stepping on your toes, so hang on.
It's hot time with Bice.
I was going to throw a rumour out there, but it's now confirmed as fact, but it's hot time with Bice, so I'll let you take the lead. I don't really want to step on your toes. Do you know what I'm referring to, Mr. Bice?
No, that's negative.
Okay. For those who watch the 18-foot skiffs,
I know where you're going.
there's a boat there that's been doing really, really, really well. New team to the class, and your name here is the name of the boat because they haven't got a sponsor. That has changed. The rumour was flying through the week. I was getting some insights. Sent a note to the owners of Vycobi, who are giving $200 gift vouchers to listeners of the month here on Bar Karate. So rather than taking the money from Vycobi and giving it to us, we've given it to you because,
Great business model,
all around good guys. And they're stepping up to sponsor for the rest of the season. The Vycobi 18-foot skiff is underway. Hey?
Well done.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Pat and his team, number
absolutely.
one. And, of course, the team that will be leading the Vycobi 18-foot skiff to
the
glory.
Drummoyne Sailing Club team.
Glory.
Yeah, so that's Kirk Mitchell on the helm, Andrew Stevenson on sheet, and then young Daniel Barnett on the bow. So Barnett, he had no choice of being an 18 sailor. Like it's
None of them
third
did, to be honest.
generation.
All three of them are massive
18s.
skiff families.
Yeah, I thought Kirk and Andrew are cherub boys actually.
Well, they are sure, but they're actually big Drummoyne Sailing Club family.
Yeah,
all of them.
Yeah, but and just whilst I'm taking over your segment, Bice, apologies for those watching the 18 champs, Australian champs go on. The way they're doing it is it's just their regular weekend racing, but it counts as the Australian champs and as the lead into the JJ. So if you are watching, you want to watch it, it is streaming. Do not, for all the scams out there, we're inundated with scams.
I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, it is free. You don't have to pay anything. You can just go to YouTube or just go to the 18 Skiff TV.
Well, probably the Facebook scams, they're worth a mention in regards to Listener of the Week. because we get a lot of
absolutely.
emails from them. Your Facebook page is about to get shut down.
How many times are we getting shut down?
Well, we're getting shut down a lot. And I mean, given that I have a few side pages, namely bikes, beers, and barbecues, she hasn't seen much activity for a while. Well, the beers and barbecues have, not the bike.
The beers and barbecues.
But no, Facebook is just copying it. At the minute. So,
Sucks. Sort it out, mate.
Be careful out there.
Yeah. I think we're just talking to a few people that run, like Facebook's just turned to shit in terms of the amount of scams that are coming through on that page at the moment is just ridiculous. But anyway, moving on. What you
Moving
got?
on. So my love affair for the RKL Team Challenge continues.
Oh, yes.
At time of recording, we just see SVR has just had one. They have damaged the Dagobah case, what I understand. Got water coming in. They've managed to control it and looks as though SVR is heading for Cape Town at this point in time, or at least some lighter winds. In the meantime, Charles Cordelier on Gitana just continues to put the hammer down and he was stalking SVR or Thomas like up until there was a bit of an issue. And as the breeze increased, it put the hammer down even more. And the cool thing about it, and I mentioned it last week, but I love the tracker and how that works. And the overlay of the wind, it's probably the best I've seen actually for quite some time. But as the wind increased, Gitana just had a bit of an edge over SVR, but now they're starting to head into the deep dark south. But I love watching the little videos. The website is English and French, but all the videos are French. They're quite the conversationalists. Oui, yeah. Voilà. Batu. Merci. Oil. Just pick up on the odd word here and there. But pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, expecting any visitors for the brisket, mate?
Well, I did send SVR a note. You've gone a bit early, boys.
Yeah.
You should have waited a bit longer so you could bring her in and briskets on.
Love it. You do have old mate rocking up next couple of days into there from the Solo Globe, isn't it?
Yeah, potentially Port Lincoln as well. So at the moment, let's see.
I love that they're done. Just on 8,000 nautical miles, and they've got another sort of 17,500 nautical miles to go. So they're about a third of the way through, and just over a week.
The cool thing here is you go to bed. Maybe I'll look at it once or twice a day.
Yeah.
But the difference in position between amazing. Once or twice a day is phenomenal. Yeah. So it keeps you
on edge.
It's a good thing to watch. Put it that way. Yeah. Rightio, what else is on? Oh, the Rourke Transatlantic. Last week we saw the first mods come in, just a little mere overnighter, just to whiz across the Atlantic. And we're starting to see the monohulls.
Yeah. Yes.
Leopard has taken monohull line honours.
Good to see.
And then Warrior One just had an absolute blinder.
Yeah.
They have absolutely nailed this. They'll win it by miles, I'm sure. I mean, there's only a few monohulls finished at time of recording, but they'll nail this. They've sailed an exceptional race. And I was just looking at some of the photos this morning of both Leopard and Warrior One, and you look at actually the Leopard crew, all the some really good men and ladies on board. So they would have had some fun. Awesome sailing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we should do it one year. We should. For the RORC, if you want live Barcarati for, from the transatlantic, I think, we could make it happen.
And he's been requested several times, but we will get him on the show. Is Shell.
Oh, yes.
So skipper off. So of Leopard. So that'll be happening in due course. Oh, Shell, if you're listening. Yeah, by the way, that's an invite. Let's make it happen.
Love it.
Very good.
What else I got? Oh, okay. I know earlier in the show, talking with Suellen, not to dwell on the negative bits going on in the sport, but definitely worth a mention.
Yeah.
controversy
Wow.
taking place
Controversy.
in US sailing at the minute.
Just
We're
seems to
getting
always-
peppered with a lot of not information. Well, I did start reading the suit, but kind of fell asleep whilst reading. So I didn't bother. I thought you'd read it, Jordan, and just
I
update
did.
us all.
I
But
did.
Leave that
see how
one to
things
Jordan.
work around here. But basically, controversy. Everyone would have heard about it by now. US Sailing suing, is that right? Suing
Correct.
Paul Kayard and another party.
Yeah, Bill Rue,
Yeah.
Josie Spinner, and of the most important one there is America One Inc.
Yeah. So I guess without dwelling on it too much, basically it's not good either way you look at it.
It's
Regardless of who did what, who didn't do what, what's going on, what secrets are out there, blah blah blah. It's a shitter for US sailing in general.
maybe we should share the link on the site so people could have a read. But it is pretty full bore. It is terrible. Scenario. I don't really. We're not close enough in the American scene to know which is which. But what you can read in the suit, what is alleged, is pretty terrible. So it's all to do with the time when Kayard was running US Sailing, and then America One providing the funding.
Yeah, there was
My biggest
was a
question.
funding issue. Funding.
My biggest question out of all of this, and just to just go serious for a little bit, does this mean if you're part of the US sailing team for Olympics coming up this year, and you've got a moustache, you've got to shave it off?
I think that's what it was.
Exactly. This is
Is that what
exactly
the
it.
what the suit is about?
Yeah, no, if
like
you
I
go
said,
down-
I didn't read it,
No, if you go
but
down to
everyone was running a moustache for a while.
No, it's Appendix A, Section 3, states clearly that it's all about the moustache. It just had to be pulled, and US Sailing couldn't come to terms with the fact that they were all growing moustaches.
Yeah, it's a bit obviously that is the fun element of it, and good laugh. But there is quite a bit of stuff going on. One of the interesting ones that I'm really, it's a breach of contract that American One, it's alleged, hasn't paid $900,000 that's owed under an agreement where they've been funding for 5 years. They were supposed to pay, was it $5 million over 5 years or something like that?
5 years, yeah.
And then that saying that there's all sorts of interference. But one of the things that I found interesting in there is the misappropriation of trade secrets.
Yeah, I mean, this is just. I mean, this without getting sort of pointing fingers. This is very US, isn't it?
Yeah, that's weird. Like, I mean, what trade secrets does a sailing organisation have?
That's right.
Anyway,
it was mentioned. It was mentioned in a couple of messengers. What trade secrets do they have? Spying on other teams. For photographs. Come on, really?
well, don't take a position.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. So, but maybe we'll share it. It's not that exciting for me to just read out all the different elements of it, but it is quite a good read if you do jump into it and have a read and see what is going on and what has gone on behind the scenes. But effectively, if I could make a quick summary, basically what it looked like was that what it's alleging is that the people named in the suit tried to roll the management and ownership and get all the dollars for US Olympic sailing to go across to American One and make that as the de facto US sailing is effectively what they're alleging. And so the allegation...
You should have read it.
Yeah, allegations saying that, the person that was the head of the foundation and Kayard at the head of US Sailing told sponsors to not give the money to US Sailing. It should be over here for into American One.
Allegedly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm reading from the suit, so I'm good. So there's quite a bit going on. But from a sport perspective, absolute disaster.
Agreed.
The US is sort of was looking like it was coming out. They had Pagey for a while, and then they booted him. Then they had Kayard, they booted him, and there's people
Something's
sending
not
us
quite
notes.
right, is there?
Yep, people sending us all sorts of inside information, alleging a few different things about US sailing. And of course, the Etchells thing. It's a funny old world. The joy of sailing, it's not there at the moment, is it? I don't know. People,
Mate, just sausage sizzle. Bring back the sausage sizzle.
Sausage up.
See, that's what's happened here.
I think.
Do they even call it a sausage in the US? Bring back the hot dog.
Bring back the hot dog. No, I think it's right, Bice. I think that is the problem. The sausage sizzle has been sort of forgotten. I think they should get on
about. Yeah, I mean, there's way too much influence going on. Just bring back the good old simple snag. Yep. We'll call it good.
Yep.
Yep. You're welcome, US Sailing.
Thank you very much, US Sailing. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, well, go to those fun events
solved.
like we were talking about. We talk about it a lot. I think I'm going to be over there in May, I suspect.
Oh, I can just see it. Just see it there. You on the beach there at some local club cooking up some bangers.
Well, that's it. I'm going. I'm trying to remember where I'm. Better not say where I'm going at the moment.
Take a bucket load of tip top white loaf bread.
Yes.
Yep. That's got to be tip top.
I'll go down to the local club and crack out the barbie and just bring back US Sailing.
Open up the barbie. Couple of beef snags, bit of dead horse.
4 litres of Rosella.
Definitely not salt and sugar reduced.
No.
Yeah.
Healthy stuff.
Because we're trying to help US Sailing, and for our US listeners, the grill. When we say the barbie, we're talking about the grill. Yeah. So we'll get snags on the barbie, and you can put hot dogs on your grill, and that should translate roughly to about what we're talking about.
Of course, the Rosella dead horse is a bit of ketchup.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so don't get confused with Rosella dead horse.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
I think we're done, boys.
Yeah, we're done. Shut it down.
We've solved all of US sailing.
Solved all US sailing's issues. Yeah, no, she's all good. Great to catch up as per usual. Good chat. And
lovely chat.
Thanks for listening.
When's
Remember,
Radix coming out with a snag? That's
Oh.
what I want to see.
I think it combines
snag.
well.
I'm going over there this week with staying there. with them,
Sell
so
it.
I'll
The
have a
Barcarati
bit of a-
snag.
Yeah, love it. Love it.
Yeah,
Barcarati
and remember if
snag
you got
with dead horse.
if you are buying, getting a Radix from Radix Nutrition, Barcarati into the discount code, and you're away. Yeah, that's it. We're done for the week. And if you want to send us anything, cheers@barcarati.com.
And we'll even give you our address to send money.
Very good.